All right, welcome to this explainer. If you're gearing up for your Unit 5 exams and you really need to nail down the absolute fundamental concepts of MS Windows, well, you're in exactly the right place. I'm seriously thrilled to guide you through this material today. We're going to break down these core computer skills step by step. The goal here? To help to build a rock-solid foundation, completely ace your exam preparation, and honestly, just truly understand the software that literally powers your daily life. Let's get into it.
Think about it for a second. Literally the moment you fire up your machine and that main screen pops up, have you ever stopped to wonder how the taskbar, those little icons, and the everyday screens actually work? Like, what's actually going on behind the scenes when you interact with things like My Computer, the desktop, or even when you just simply right-click your mouse? If you're studying computers, understanding the mechanical logic behind MS Windows is absolutely essential. It's the invisible engine driving every single thing you do.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Introduction to Windows OS. 2. Key Windows features. 3. The evolution of Windows. 4. Navigating the workspace. And finally, 5. We'll wrap it all up with a practical example.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Introduction to Windows OS.
So before we even think about clicking on anything, we really need to define what Windows actually is. At its very core, Windows is an operating system. That means it's the essential software acting as an interface between you, the user, and the actual physical computer hardware. Imagine trying to have a deep conversation with someone who doesn't speak a single word of your language, and you don't speak theirs. It'd be impossible, right? Well, the operating system is the ultimate translator. It takes your clicks, your keystrokes, your mouse movements, and it translates all of that into actions the hardware can actually understand and execute.
So how exactly does Windows pull off this massive translation job? Well, it uses what we call a graphical user interface, or GUI for short. And let me tell you, this is a huge deal. Before GUIs, computing was pretty rough, but because of the GUI, we don't have to memorize long, complicated, highly specific text commands just to get the computer to open a simple file. Instead, we get to operate the machine using highly visual items, things like windows, little graphical icons, drop-down menus, clickable buttons, and of course, our trusty mouse cursor. It makes the entire computing experience visual, super accessible, and just infinitely less stressful for all of us.
Moving right along, here is Section 2, Key Windows features.
First up in our digital toolkit is the Find feature, which a lot of us also know as the Search feature. Look, imagine you've got hundreds or maybe literally thousands of files scattered all over your computer. You know the exact name of a specific document, but you have absolutely zero idea which random folder you ended up saving it in. We've all been there, right? Instead of intensely clicking through every single folder manually, which would take forever, the Find feature steps in as a massive time saver. You just type in the name and boom, it instantly locates that specific file, folder, or piece of information for you. It's basically magic.
Next up, we've got the Properties option. This is basically the backstage pass to your files. Whenever you need the background statistics of literally any file, folder, or system item, this is exactly where you go. By pulling up the properties, you uncover all the vital stats, the item's exact location on your hard drive, its total size, the specific file type, and a whole host of other additional details. It tells you how much storage space it's eating up and what kind of format it's in. It really is your ultimate centralized information panel for anything sitting on your machine.
Then there's Quick View. The whole point of Quick View is right there in the name. It helps you instantly preview item information without needing to open the full application. And beyond just speeding up your workflow, this is actually incredibly practical for your machine's resources. Think about it. It completely bypasses the need to fully load a heavy, demanding software application just to see what's inside a document. You get an incredibly fast, immediate look at your content, and you don't tax your system's processing power or drain your battery life in the process. Win-win!
Now, to actually access a lot of these awesome features quickly, you're going to rely on one of the absolute most powerful actions in all of computing, right-clicking. When you right-click on a file, a folder, or honestly even just the blank desktop itself, it summons what's called a context menu. This menu hands you a list of immediate, highly relevant actions you can take right then and there. You can open the file, copy it to duplicate it somewhere else, delete it if you're completely done with it, rename it to something more useful, or, like we just talked about, access those properties. So the big takeaway here is that the right-click context menu is a central, non-negotiable pillar of your daily computer tasks.
All right, shifting gears to Section 3, Evolution of Windows.
We've looked at all these modern features, but Windows definitely wasn't always the way it looks today. It went through a really fascinating developmental journey. let's look at how this whole ecosystem evolved. Phase 1 started with Windows 95, which was massive because it brought that graphical environment to the everyday masses. Then Phase 2, Windows 98, rolled in and added some seriously vital hardware support. Phase 3 was the Windows ME bridge, which then led us into Phase 4, Windows XP. And XP became this legendary absolute standard for stability. Everybody loved XP. As digital threats grew, Phase 5, Windows Vista, shifted focus heavily onto security and upgraded graphics. And all of that paved the way for Phase 6, Windows 7, which basically perfected that sweet spot balance of usability and pure performance. Remembering the specific chronological sequence is super useful for your exams, but it also helps you understand how the tools we rely on today were built, layer upon layer, over decades.
That brings us to Section 4, Navigating the Workspace.
Now that we understand the history, we really need to clearly differentiate the primary on-screen areas where you actually spend your time, specifically the desktop versus My Computer. When your Windows machine first boots up, that main working screen greeting you is the desktop. This is your primary working area. It houses your software shortcuts, your various icons, and that crucial taskbar running along the bottom. Think of it exactly like the literal top of your physical desk in an office. On the flip side, My Computer is your storage exploration hub. You use My Computer when you need to dive deep and explore the internal architecture of your machine. We're talking about accessing your hard disk drives, checking out removable storage, and navigating through all those nested internal folders and files. Desktop is the surface, My Computer is the filing cabinet.
And while you're moving around that workspace, you also get to control exactly how it looks by using the display settings. Display settings allow you to manage the screen's appearance and genuinely customize the user experience to make the computer feel like yours. You can tweak the visual options however you want, whether that means setting up the perfect motivating background wallpaper or simply adjusting your screen brightness so you can prevent eye strain during those intense late-night study sessions. It's all about making the workspace comfortable for you.
Now for the really fun part, Section 5, a practical example.
Let's bring all these abstract concepts down to earth and see how these tools actually work together in a real-world scenario. Imagine you're a student, and you desperately need to track down a specific college assignment on a computer that is just absolutely filled with scattered files and messy folders. Step 1. You use the Find feature, typing in the assignment's name, and boom, it appears on your screen instantly. Step 2. You right-click that file to pop open your context menu. Step 3. You select Properties from that menu to check the file details. Maybe you just need to quickly verify the file size isn't too large to attach to an email to your professor. And finally, Step 4. Let's say you suddenly realize you need to reference an older, related document that's stored on a completely different drive. You just open up My Computer, navigate straight through the required drive, and find exactly what you need. See how that works? All these different individual features seamlessly link together to make your workflow completely effortless.
Which brings us to the ultimate summary and main takeaway for Unit 5. The absolute core purpose of the entire Windows operating system is to make computer operation easy, user-friendly, and graphically intuitive. By providing that graphical user interface we talked about earlier, it completely removes the intimidating barrier of typing out complex text commands. Grasping these foundational concepts, knowing exactly how to search, how to utilize the right-click menu, how to efficiently navigate between the desktop and My Computer, means you aren't just memorizing dry facts to pass a test. You are truly mastering the digital tools that you are going to use for the rest of your academic and professional career.
We have absolutely covered a ton of ground today, all the way from the basic definitions of an operating system to a full practical walkthrough of everyday features. But as always, the learning doesn't stop right here. I want to leave you with a direct question from your study guide. Do you want an important Q&A explainer for Unit 5? Let us know. We'd love to help you test your knowledge. But before you close this screen, ask yourself this. The very next time you boot up your machine, are you going to look at it as just a glowing screen, or are you going to see it as an intricate, graphical engine just waiting for your command? Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.